In this video, I'm going to be talking about pregnenolone and the importance of it when it comes to your testosterone production. So let's get into it. So I hope that you're having an amazing day. And yeah, so when it comes to pregnenolone, it's an underrated topic that no one really talks about. And in my opinion, it should be more talked about, especially the fundamentals of how testosterone is produced. So pregnenolone is a precursor to testosterone. You cannot have higher testosterone levels without firstly focusing on pregnenolone. So cholesterol is a substance that can be converted into hormones such as pregnenolone, progesterone, DHEA, testosterone, and DHT. I'm going to show you a graph to give you a visual representation of how that goes. But first, I'm just going to go through this and I'm going to show you a graph and really explain it into depth. So your body needs thyroid hormones, so T3, T4, T3 for this purpose, and vitamin A to convert cholesterol into pregnenolone. So without cholesterol, vitamin A, and optimal thyroid hormones, your body cannot produce pregnenolone. That being said, it cannot produce other hormones like testosterone and DHT, which is then further converted into other hormones. Testosterone is primarily produced in the testes and the Leydig cells, when LH stimulates it from the pituitary gland. So the hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary with GnRH, the anterior pituitary, and it creates LH and FSH, and they stimulate, LH stimulates the Leydig cells, and FSH stimulates the stereoli cells, I'm pretty sure they're called. I may be butchering that, but basically, and this is always going back to the dangers of using TRT, for instance, because if you were to take pregnenolone, it improves its own production. So if you were to supplement with pregnenolone, it's not going to harm you, but supplementing with testosterone, it can have harmful effects, because when you're taking in testosterone, you're skipping all the steps of LH and FSH, so your body stops producing those two hormones because there's no need. The hypothalamus is getting a signal that there's enough testosterone in the system, so your testicles are not stimulated to produce sperm. That's why guys on TRT are infertile and things like that, and that's why they have an accumulation of cholesterol in the body, fatty liver, because they're not utilizing the cholesterol, they're potentially not utilizing vitamin A, so on and so forth. But mostly it's to do with the FSH, follicle stimulating hormones, that stimulates the production of sperms. Because pregnenolone can be used for other things like progesterone, DHEA, so on and so forth. So testosterone is primarily produced in the testes by the adrenal glands, okay? Vitamin A is crucial for hormone synthesis, and without it, the body cannot convert cholesterol into pregnenolone. So vitamin A is super important as well. That's why you see a lot of guys promoting the consumption of liver, because liver is high in vitamin A. Damage to the mitochondria can affect the body's supply of protective hormones, as stress can suppress thyroid activity, leading to increased cholesterol production to compensate. The loss of energy and hormones due to the damaged mitochondria would have significant consequences. When pregnenolone is inadequate, cortisol is overproduced and estrogen's effects are largely unopposed. In hypothyroidism, so if you have low thyroid hormones, low metabolic rate, and other stressful conditions, increased adrenaline and cortisol production can lead to less restful sleep. When an animal, for instance, such as a squirrel, approaches hibernation and is producing less carbon dioxide, the decrease in carbon dioxide releases serotonin, which slows respiration, lowers temperature, suppresses appetite, and produces torpor. I'm going to get into, if you don't know what this is, I'm going to get deep into the graph when I show you it. But in any energy-deprived humans, increased of adrenaline opposed to hibernation's reaction. So in us, we have higher adrenaline versus going into hibernation. Alter energy production and the ability to relax and to sleep deeply and with restorative effect. So a lot of individuals don't realize you need energy to sleep. When you see a dead person, they're stiff because they don't have any energy. And they've done an experiment on dead people when they put energy or whatever they did in their arm and they relax. So your body needs energy, a high metabolic rate to relax, to be rested, well relaxed, calm and collective, to sleep properly. The basic metabolic rate, which is mainly governed by thyroid, roughly corresponds to the average body temperature. 75% of your energy spent is on temperature regulation. However, in hypothyroidism, there's an adaptive increase in the activity of the sympathetic, so stress nervous system. Parasympathetic is relaxed, sympathetic is stress, producing more adrenaline, which helps to maintain body temperature by causing vasoconstriction in the skin. In aging, menopause, and various stressful conditions, the increased adrenaline and increased cortisol production, which is produced by excess adrenaline, causes a tendency to wake more easily and to have less restful sleep. So stress is detrimental. So let me show you the graph so you have a visual representation. I'll put myself down here. So let's start within the cell, so within the mitochondria. So your body takes cholesterol, vitamin A, and T3, which is the active form of thyroid hormones. Your thyroid gland produces mainly T4, a bit of T3, and the T4 goes to your liver, and if your liver has adequate glycogen storage, basically meaning there's food around, it's okay to produce more T3, convert the T4 into T3, removing the iodine into T3, to then the T3 to signal all the other parts of the body to increase energy, right? Because if you were to have a high metabolic rate and it's winter and you have no food, you would die from starvation. That's why drugs, cocaine, amphetamines are very dangerous, because they increase the metabolic rate a lot. That's why you feel so amazing. But the problem with that is it's synthetic. So you're burning through all your minerals and vitamins. That's why drug addicts, they age very quickly, because you're burning through all your minerals, vitamins very quickly. Naturally, if you're to do it naturally, your body would slow down the metabolic rate, because it's like, we don't have enough minerals and vitamins, so on and so forth. So it has this relationship, the body communicates within. So you always want to start with the foundations. So you have cholesterol, vitamin A, T3. Your body's taking in oxygen, glucose, T3, and the byproduct is ATP, carbon dioxide. Remember here, approach is hibernation and is producing less carbon dioxide. What does that have to do with it? When your cells are producing a lot of energy, the byproduct is carbon dioxide. So how does this work? So there's this thing called the Burr and Haldane effect. There always has to be an exchange between oxygen and carbon dioxide. When you breathe in oxygen, there has to be an exchange. That's why you breathe out carbon dioxide. So you breathe in oxygen, there's an exchange, then the oxygen travels within the blood, and to get into the cell, there has to be an exchange as well. So the more carbon dioxide the cells are producing, the more oxygen they can get into the cell. That's why you will see, if you improve your metabolic rate, you're going to breathe in deeper. You want to breathe in deeper breaths. Do you ever, when you have super low metabolic rate, you can breathe in air, but it feels like you're not getting it into you? When you have a high metabolic rate, when you breathe in, you can get this full breath in. I work with guys who play sports, right? And I get them to increase their metabolic rate. Rather than the coaches are telling them, you need to run more, run. No, if you improve your metabolic rate, you can have better respiration. You can take in more air. You can run for more. And things like that. But that's another topic. You're producing more ATP, energy, carbon dioxide. So energy, carbon dioxide, and water. When you're in the carbon dioxide, lowers serotonin in the body. Serotonin is responsible for managing the energy levels within the body. And the thing with like your organs within the body, they have enzymes. Let's say you do have a lot of serotonin. They have enzymes which deactivate the serotonin. But if you have a low metabolic rate, the enzymes are not there. That's why the serotonin can come into action and downregulate your body's energy. You feel low, you don't feel like doing anything. In animals, you go into hibernation. So basically, if you're eating less food, you're producing less carbon dioxide, that signals to your body to produce more serotonin. It's going to downregulate your metabolism. So now tell me, how is a supplement, a herb, going to fix this? It's not. That's why I always tell you, forget about the supplements, look at the foundations, which is this. So when your cell respiration is in check, you produce pregnenolone, which is super important for all of these processes. So you see, it goes from here, cholesterol, which is this bit, pregnenolone, which from this you produce testosterone, right? It goes to DHEA here, testosterone, and then it can go to DHT or estrogen. It'll go more into estrogen if you have a higher body fat percentage, above 15%, because body fat contains an aromatase enzyme that converts your testosterone into estrogen. That's why I preach staying between 8 to 15 body fat percentage. The things that I talk about have great depth to it. I don't just say these things just randomly. There's a lot of context to it. I just simplify it for you to understand. That's why I talk about, forget about the supplements. When you're a child, the reason why when you're a child the world felt so colorful and amazing is because your metabolic rate is super high. You're producing CO2 at a huge level. And serotonin is also responsible for filtering the reality that you see. That's why when you're a child, you see a lot of colors, because it takes energy for your body to handle the reality, right? That's why things like LSD are serotonin antagonists, right? That's why when people take serotonin, they see things because it removes the filter. And when you're getting older, your serotonin rises because you're producing less carbon dioxide. So you feel numb, everything's like gray, everything's very similar. So this is the fundamental, and pregnenolone is very powerful when it comes to that. So this is the science behind pregnenolone and testosterone, and why you need both, right? There's a bunch of studies showcasing how pregnenolone and even DHT is super important for vitality, to make you feel amazing and things like that. So that being said, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe. Send it to someone that needs to hear this. And God bless. Peace.